You've seen chickens in farms, in stores, on your plate, but what happens between those stages will shock you. Every single day, millions of chickens are moved in ways most people never see, and the truth behind this massive operation is darker, stranger, and more jaw-dropping than you could imagine. If you've ever wondered how billions of birds make it from farm to factory to freezer in what seems like the blink of an eye, buckle up, because this isn't just a story about food. It's about a hidden system that operates in plain sight, one that affects everything from the price of your groceries to the ethics on your fork. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at chicken the same way again. Right now, you might be thinking, it's just transportation. How shocking can it really be? That's exactly what they want you to believe. But behind the sanitized labels and cheerful supermarket ads, there's a reality most consumers never question. We're talking about cramped cages, extreme weather dangers, and a logistical nightmare that pushes both animals and workers to the brink. Why? Because speed and profit come first. The cost is higher than you think. This isn't just some expose. It's a deep dive into an industry that thrives on staying invisible. And today, you're finally going to see what's really going on. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about guilt-tripping you or telling you what to eat. This is about pulling back the curtain on a process that's been kept quiet for decades. Whether you're a meat lover, a vegan, or just someone who hates being lied to, this story matters. Because the way we move our food says everything about our values. And right now, the system is built on a simple rule: out of sight, out of mind. But not anymore. Today, we're dragging those secrets into the light. Here's the thing, most of us never stop to think about how that chicken breast got to the store. We see the neat, plastic-wrapped packages and assume it's all clean, efficient, and humane. But the journey those birds take is anything but simple, from the moment they're loaded onto trucks in the dead of night to the brutal conditions they endure on the road. This is a system built for scale, not compassion. And the workers. They're trapped in the same machine, forced to move at impossible speeds while corporations rake in billions. This isn't just food production, it's an empire. And empires don't change unless we demand it. So here's the real question. What are they hiding? And why don't they want you to know? The answers will make your skin crawl. We're talking about legal loopholes, undercover footage that's been buried, and a supply chain that's designed to keep you in the dark. But here's the twist. This story isn't hopeless. Because once you know the truth, you hold the power to change it. And that's exactly why this video exists. Not to scare you, but to arm you with the facts they don't want you to have. Now, before we go any further, let's be clear. This isn't just some random investigation. What you're about to see comes from months of research, insider testimonies, and footage that's been suppressed for years. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll understand why the industry fights so hard to keep this under wraps. But we're not stopping there. Because the most shocking part isn't just how these chickens are moved, it's who's allowing it to happen. And that's where things get really disturbing. To truly understand the scale of what's happening, we need to rewind the clock and look at how this system came to be. Decades ago, chicken was a luxury, something families saved for Sunday dinners. But today, it's the most consumed meat in America, available at every fast food joint and supermarket for pocket change. How did we get here? The answer lies in a quiet revolution, one that transformed poultry farming from small, local operations into a corporate-controlled empire. The driving force: speed and efficiency at all costs. The modern poultry industry isn't just about raising chickens, it's about moving them faster, cheaper, and in numbers that defy logic. And somewhere along the way, the line between progress and cruelty got blurred beyond recognition. But let's talk about the people caught in this machine. Meet the truckers who haul these birds across the country under punishing deadlines. Their rigs packed so tight that the heat inside can reach deadly levels in summer. They'll tell you about the smell, a thick, suffocating stench of ammonia, and fear that clings to their clothes long after the job is done. Then there are the farmers, locked into contracts with giant corporations, forced to raise chickens in ways they know are wrong, but can't escape without losing everything. And finally, the undercover investigators who've risked everything to film what happens in those dimly lit loading docks at 3 a.m., where no cameras are supposed to be. These aren't just whistleblowers. They're ordinary people who saw something they couldn't unsee. And now they're speaking out. The real kicker. Much of what happens during poultry transport isn't technically illegal. That's by design. Over the years, the industry has lobbied for exemptions from basic animal welfare laws, creating loopholes that would make your jaw drop. For example, did you know chickens are the only livestock not protected by federal humane slaughter laws during transport? That means while cows and pigs have at least some legal protections, chickens can legally be subjected to conditions that would spark outrage if they were any other animal. And here's where it gets even darker. These loopholes exist because of a simple, brutal calculation. Chickens are cheap, they're small, and they die by the billions every year anyway. So who's going to notice if a few million more suffer along the way? Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. This isn't just about animal welfare. It's about a food system built on exploitation at every level. The same companies that turn a blind eye to suffering in their supply chains are the ones pushing for faster line speeds in processing plants, where workers, many of them immigrants, are forced to debone 40 chickens a minute in dangerous conditions. The injuries are horrific, the turnover is astronomical, and the profits, they're in the billions. This is the ugly math of cheap meat. Someone, somewhere, is always paying the price. And more often than not, that someone doesn't have a voice. But wait, it gets even more twisted. Recently, a series of undercover videos from different states started surfacing, all showing eerily similar scenes. Chickens dumped alive into trash bins, birds with broken wings trampled in crowded cages, trucks speeding down highways in blizzards with no protection from the cold. The footage was shocking, but what happened next was even more telling. Instead of addressing the problems, the industry doubled down, pushing for new laws that would criminalize undercover investigations. That's right. In some states, it's now easier to sue the person filming animal abuse than to punish the abusers themselves. This isn't just about hiding the truth. It's about making sure the truth never gets out in the first place. So where does that leave us? Stuck in a system where the cheapest chicken comes with a hidden cost, one that doesn't show up on the price tag. But here's what they don't want you to know. This system only works because most people never ask questions. The moment we start peeling back the layers, the whole thing starts to unravel. And that's exactly why the next part of this story is so explosive. Because when we followed the trail beyond the trucks and the farms, what we found wasn't just negligence. It was something far more deliberate. Something that proves this isn't an accident of the industry. It's the business model. Just when you thought this story couldn't get any darker, we uncovered something that changes everything. It wasn't just about the chickens suffering in transit or the workers trapped in a broken system. There was a deliberate, calculated reason behind the chaos. And it all traces back to a single shocking practice the industry never wants you to know about: livestock dumping. That's right, millions of chickens, deemed unfit for processing due to injuries or illness, aren't just euthanized humanely. They're thrown away, alive, into massive dumpsters, left to suffocate under piles of other birds or slowly die from exposure. This wasn't just negligence. It was standard procedure at some of the biggest poultry plants in the country. And the worst part, the companies knew. They've always known. But here's where the story takes an even more sinister turn. When investigators started digging deeper, they found internal documents, emails, training manuals, even corporate memos that revealed this wasn't just a cost-saving measure. It was a strategy. By offloading sick or injured birds this way, companies avoided the expense of proper euthanasia. But they also dodged regulatory scrutiny. Because once those chickens hit the dumpster, they were no longer part of the official count. No paperwork, no violations, no accountability. It was the perfect loophole, unless someone was watching. And that's exactly what happened when a brave whistleblower inside one of the largest poultry producers in the US leaked footage that showed supervisors explicitly instructing workers to get rid of the weak ones before inspectors arrived. Suddenly, this wasn't just an animal welfare issue, it was fraud on an industrial scale. Meanwhile, the human toll of this system kept growing. Workers on the evisceration lines, already pushed to their limits, were now being pressured to process birds faster than ever, even as more sick and injured chickens made it onto the line. The result? Contamination risks skyrocketed, with USDA reports showing a spike in salmonella and other pathogens in plants where these practices were rampant. And yet, despite the clear danger to public health, the federal inspections meant to catch these problems were being gutted, thanks to industry-backed policies that allowed companies to essentially police themselves. It was a perfect storm. Animals suffering, workers exploited, and consumers left in the dark about what they were really eating. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Just as public pressure was building, a mysterious fire broke out at a major poultry transport hub, one that had recently been the focus of undercover investigations. The official cause was labeled an electrical fault, but former employees came forward with a different story. They claimed the company had been scrambling to destroy evidence, shipping logs, health records, even security footage, right before a scheduled audit. Was it a coincidence? Or was this the industry's way of silencing dissent before the truth could come out? Either way, the message was clear. Exposing this system came with real risks. Now, with lawsuits mounting and public outrage spreading, the industry is at a crossroads. Will they finally be forced to change? Or will they double down, using their political influence to bury the scandal even deeper? Because here's the thing. This isn't just about chicken anymore. It's about how far corporations will go to protect profits, even when lives are on the line. And the most chilling question of all, what else are they hiding? The answer might be closer than you think, and it's about to blow this story wide open. Just when it seemed like the truth might be buried forever, a breakthrough came from the most unlikely place, a single worker who had seen too much and finally decided to speak out. This wasn't just another whistleblower. It was someone with direct access to the company's most guarded secrets, and what they revealed would send shockwaves through the entire industry. Hidden deep in corporate servers were documents proving that top executives had known about the inhumane conditions for years, not just in transport, but across every stage of production. Even worse, they had conducted internal studies showing how these practices were leading to higher contamination rates. But instead of fixing the problem, they funneled millions into lobbying to weaken food safety regulations. The betrayal was staggering. This wasn't just negligence, it was a conscious choice to prioritize profit over lives, animal and human alike. Then came the final twist, one that no one could have predicted. As lawsuits piled up and public pressure reached a boiling point, a rival poultry company, sensing opportunity, leaked explosive footage of its own. But this wasn't just more undercover footage. It was a recorded meeting between industry leaders, joking about the dumb consumers who would never question where their food came from. The video went viral overnight, sparking outrage from lawmakers, celebrities, and even rival food corporations. Suddenly, the entire industry was scrambling to distance itself from the scandal, with major grocery chains and fast food giants dropping suppliers left and right. The system that had seemed untouchable just months earlier was now crumbling under the weight of its own corruption. But the real victory came from where it mattered most, the people. Farmers who had been trapped in exploitative contracts began organizing. Workers on processing lines unionized for better conditions, and consumers started demanding transparency like never before. Some states even passed groundbreaking laws banning live short dumping and mandating humane transport standards, proving that change was possible when enough voices joined together. And while the fight is far from over, the message was clear. The era of secrecy and exploitation in the poultry industry was ending. So what's the takeaway from all of this? It's simple. Your choices matter. Every time you ask where your food comes from, every time you demand better, You're not just changing what's on your plate, you're challenging an entire system built on cutting corners and hiding the truth. This story isn't just about chickens or corporations. It's about power, who has it, who abuses it, and how ordinary people can take it back. And if there's one thing this scandal proved, it's that no industry is too big to fall when the truth comes to light. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of inner strength and resilience. Until next time, stay strong, stay brave, and never forget your worth.